Good morning, friends. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Mr. Shahnawaz This is Shahnawaz. This is the 8th part of my video series Arihant GK by Manohar Pandey. Here I start from page number 19. The Revolt of 1857 started at Meerut on 10th May 1857. Political cause: the policy of doctrine of lapse. Economic cause: heavy taxation, evictions, discriminatory tariff policy against Indian products, and destruction of traditional handicrafts and hit peasants, artisans and small zamindars. Military discriminations: as Indian soldiers were paid low salaries, they could not rise above the rank of subedar and were racially insulted. Grievances of sepoys: the introduction of Enfield rifle and its cartridge of which was greased with animal fat provided the spark. A rebellion broke out among sepoys of Meerut on 10th May 1857, which later spread to other parts of the country. British social reforms: widow remarriage, abolition of sati, education for girls, Christian missionaries. Center of revolt and leaders. Center of revolt, leader, British suppressor. Delhi: Bahadur Shah II, Bakht Khan, John Nicholson, Hudson. Banaras: Liaquat Ali, James Neal. Kanpur: Nana Sahib Tatya Tope, Ajimullah Khan, Campbell and Havelock. Lucknow: Hazrat Mahal Begum of Awadh, Havelock, James Neal, Campbell. Jhansi: Rani Lakshmibai, Sir Hugh Ross. Bareilly: Khan Bahadur Khan, Sir Colin Campbell. Awadh, Bihar: Veer Kumar Singh, William Taylor and Vincent Eyre. Cause of failure: the Nizam of Hyderabad, the Raja of Jodhpur, Sindhya of Gwalior, the Holkar of Indore, and the rulers of Patiala, Sindh and Kashmir, and the Rana of Nepal provided active support to the British. Comparative lack of efficient leadership. Impact of the revolt: the control of Indian administration was passed on to the British Crown by the Government of India Act 1858. Reorganization of the army: after the revolt, the British pursued the policy of divide and rule. Chief national activities: the Indian National Congress. It was formed in 1885 by A.O. Hume, a retired civil servant. The first session was held in Bombay under presidency of W.C. Banerjee in 1885, attended by 72 delegates from all over India. The first 2 decades of INC are described in history as those of moderate demands and sense of confidence in British justice and generosity. Moderate leader: Dada Bhai Nauroji, Badruddin Tayyabji, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Surendranath Banerjee and Anand Mohan Bose. Partition of Bengal 1905. The partition was announced by Lord Curzon on 16th October 1905 through a royal proclamation reducing the old province of Bengal in size by creating East Bengal and Assam out of the rest of Bengal. Swadeshi movement 1905. This movement had its origin in the anti-partition movement of Bengal. Lal Bal Pal and Aurobindo Ghosh plays an important role. INC took the Swadeshi call first at Banaras session 1905, presided over by Gopal Krishna Gokhale. Muslim League 1906. It was set up in 1906 by Aga Khan, Nawab Salimullah of Dhaka and Nawab Mohsinul Mulk. The League supported the partition of Bengal and opposed the Swadeshi movement, demanded special safeguard to its community and a separate electorate for Muslims. This led to communal differences between the Hindus and Muslims. Demand for Swaraj, Calcutta session, December 1906. The ANC under the leadership of Dada Bhai Nauroji adopted Swaraj, self-government, as the goal of Indian people. Surat session 1907. The ANC split into 2 groups, the extremists and moderates, due to the debate on nature of Swadeshi movement. Extremists were led by Lal Bal Pal, while the moderate by Gopal Krishna Gokhale. Morley Minto reforms 1909. The reforms envisaged a separate electorate for Muslims. Besides other constitutional measures, Lord Minto came to be known as the father of communal electorate. Gadar Party 1913, formed by Lala Hardyal, Taraknath Das and Sohan Sen Bhagna. headquartered San Francisco. The name was taken from a weekly paper, Gadar, which had been started on 1st November 1913 to commemorate the 1857 revolt. Home Rule Movement 1916, started by Bal Gangadhar Tilak, April 1916, at Pune, and Annie Besant and Subramaniam Iyer at Adyar near Madras, September 1916. Objective: self-government for India in the British Empire. During this movement, Tilak raised the slogan, "Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it." Lucknow Pact 1916, pact between INC and Muslim League following a war between Britain and Turkey leading to anti-British feelings among Muslims. Both organizations jointly demanded dominion status for the country. Congress accepted separate electorate for Muslims. August Declaration 1917. After the Lucknow Pact, the British policy was announced which aimed at increasing association of Indians in every branch of the administration for progressive realization of responsible government in India. As an integral part of the British Empire, this came to be called the August Declaration. The Montague-Chelmsford Reforms, or the Act of 1919, was based on this declaration. Rolled at 18th of March 1919, this gave unbridled power to the government to arrest and imprison a suspect without trial. This law enabled the government to suspend the right of habeas corpus, which had been the foundation of civil liberties in Britain. Rolled Satyagraha was started against the act. This was the first countrywide agitation by Gandhiji. Jallianwala Bagh Massacre, 13th April 1919. People were agitated over the arrest of Dr. Saifuddin Kichliu and Satyapal on 10th April 1919. General Dyer fired at people who assembled in the Jallianwala Bagh, Amritsar. Michael O'Dyer was Lieutenant Governor of Punjab at that time. The Hunter Commission was appointed to inquire into it. Rabindranath Tagore returned his knighthood in protest. Sardar Udham Singh killed Michael O'Dyer in Caxton Hall, London on March 13, 1940. Khilafat Movement 1920. Muslims were agitated by the treatment done with Turkey by the British in the treaty that followed the First World War. Ali brothers Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali started this movement. It was jointly led by the Khilafat leaders and the Congress. Non-Cooperation Movement 1920. Congress passed the resolution in its Calcutta session in September 1920. It was the first mass-based political movement under Gandhiji. The movement envisaged resignation from the nominated offices and posts in the local bodies. Refusal to attend government darbars and boycott of British courts by the lawyers. Refusal of general public to offer themselves for military and other government jobs and boycott of foreign goods. Chauri Chaura incidents 1922. The Congress session at Allahabad in December 1921 decided to launch a civil disobedience program. Gandhiji was appointed its leader. But before it could be launched, a mob of people at Chauri Chaura near Gorakhpur clashed with the police and burnt 22 policemen on 5th February 1922. This compelled Gandhiji to withdraw the non-cooperation movement on 12th February 1922. Swaraj Party 1923, Motilal Nehru, C.R. Das and N.C. Kelkar, called pro-changers, demanded that the nationalists should end the boycott of the legislative councils, enter them and expose them. They formed Swaraj Party for this purpose with C.R. Das as the president. Simon Commission 1927. It was constituted by the John Simon to review the political situation in India and to introduce further reforms and extension of parliamentary democracy. Indian leaders opposed to commission as there were no Indians in it. They cried, "Simon, go back." The government used brutal repression and at Lahore, Lala Lajpat Rai was severely beaten in lathi charge and later succumbed to death. The Nehru Report 1928. After boycotting the Simon Commission, all political parties constituted a committee under the chairmanship of Motilal Nehru to evolve and determine the principles for the Constitution of India. Lahore Session 1929. On 9th December 1929, under the presidency of Jawaharlal Nehru, the INC at its Lahore Session declared Purna Swaraj, complete independence as its ultimate goal. The tricolored flag, adopted on 31st December 1929, was unfurled, and 26 January 1930 was fixed as the first Independence Day to be celebrated every year. Later, this day was chosen as the Republic Day of India. Dandi March 1930, also called the Salt Satyagraha. Gandhiji started his march from Sabarmati Ashram on 12th March 1930 for the small village Dandi to break the salt law. He picked a handful of salt and inaugurated the civil disobedience movement. Civil disobedience movement, countrywide mass participation by women, and Garhwal soldiers refused to fire on the people at Peshawar. First Roundtable Conference 1931. It was the first conference arranged between the British and Indians as equals. It was held on 12th November 1930 in London to discuss Simon Commission. Hindu Mahasabha and Muslim League participated in it. The conference failed due to absence of Indian National Congress. Gandhi-Irwin Pact 1931. The government represented by Lord Irwin and INC led by Gandhiji signed a pact on 5th March 1931. In this, the INC called off the civil disobedience movement and agreed to join the Second Roundtable Conference. The government allowed the villagers on the coast to make salt for consumption and released the political prisoners. The Karachi session of 1931 of Congress endorsed the Gandhi-Irwin Pact. Second Roundtable Conference 1931, Gandhiji represented the INC and went to London to meet British Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald. The conference, however, failed as Gandhiji could not agree with British Prime Minister on his policy of communal representation and refusal of the British government on the basic Indian demand for freedom. The Communal Award, 16th August 1932. Announced by Ramsay MacDonald, it showed divide and rule policy of the British. It envisaged communal representation of the depressed classes, Sikh and Muslims. Gandhiji opposed it and started fast unto death in Yarbada Jail, Pune, Maharashtra. Pune Pact, Gandhi-Ambedkar Pact, 25th of September 1932. The idea of separate electorate for the depressed classes was abandoned, but seats reserved for them in the provincial legislature were increased. Thus, Pune Pact agreed upon a joint electorate for upper and lower castes. Third Roundtable Conference 1932 proved fruitless as most of the national leaders were in prison. Demand for Pakistan. In 1930, Iqbal suggested that the Northwest Province and Kashmir should be made Muslim state within the Federation. Chaudhry Rahmat Ali gave the term Pakistan in 1933. Muslim League first passed the proposal of separate Pakistan in its Lahore session in 1940 called Jinnah's Two-Nation Theory. It was drafted by Sikandar Hayat Khan, moved by Fazlul Haq and seconded by the Khaliquzzama. In December 1943, the Karachi session of the Muslim League adopted the slogan Divide and Quit. August offered 8th August 1940, it offered dominion status in the unspecified future, a post-war body to enact the constitution, to expand the Governor-General's Executive Council to give full weightage to minority opinion. This was rejected by the INC but was accepted by the Muslim League. The Cripps Mission 1942. The British government, with a view to get cooperation from the Indians in the Second World War, sent Sir Stafford Cripps to settle terms with Indian leaders. He offered dominion status to be granted after war. Congress rejected it. Gandhiji termed it as a post-dated check on a crashing bank. The Revolt of 1942 and the Quit Indian Movement, also called the Warda Proposal, a leaderless revolt. The resolution was passed on 8th August 1942 at Bombay. Gandhiji gave the slogan "Do or Die." On 9th August, the Congress was banned and its important leaders were arrested. Gandhiji was kept at the Aga Khan Palace, Pune. The people became violent. The movement was, however, crushed by the government. Indian National Army, INA. Subhash Chandra Bose escaped to Berlin in 1941 and set up the Indian League there. In July 1943, he joined the INA at Singapore. Ras Bihari Bose handed over the leadership to him. INA had 3 fighting brigades named after Gandhi, Azad and Nehru. Rani of Jhansi Brigade was an exclusive women force. INA had its headquarters at Rangoon and Singapore. The Cabinet Mission Plan 1946. Members were Pathage Lawrence, Stafford Cripps and A.V. Alexander. Lord Wavell was the Viceroy of India at that time. Main proposals: rejection of demand for a full-fledged Pakistan, loose union under a center with center control over defense and foreign affairs. Province were to have full autonomy and residual powers. Provincial legislatures would elect a constituent assembly. The Muslim League accepted it on 6 June 1946. The Congress also partially accepted this plan. Formation of interim government 2nd September 1946. It came into existence on 2nd September 1946 in accordance with Cabinet Mission proposals and was headed by Jawaharlal Nehru. Muslim League refused to join it initially. Prime Minister Attlee on 20th February 1947 announced that the British would withdraw from India by 30th June 1948. Formation of Constituent Assembly December 1946. The Constituent Assembly met on 9th December 1946 and Dr. Rajendra Prasad was elected as its president. Jinnah's Direct Action Resolution 16th August 1946. Provoked by the success of the Congress in the voting for Constituent Assembly, Jinnah withdrew his acceptance to the Cabinet Mission Plan. Muslim League passed a Direct Action Resolution which condemned both the British government and the Congress 16th August 1946. It resulted in heavy communal riots. Jinnah celebrated Pakistan's Day on 27th March 1947. Mountbatten Plan, also called 3rd June Plans, 3rd June 1947. The plans formulated by Lord Mountbatten outlined that India was to be further divided into India and Pakistan. There would be a separate constitutional assembly for Pakistan to frame its constitution. The princely states would enjoy the liberty to either join India or Pakistan or could even remain independent. Bengal and Punjab will be partitioned and a referendum in NWFP and Sylhet district of Assam would be held. A separate state of Pakistan would be created. Boundary Commission was said to be headed by the Red Cliff. Partition and Independence, August 1947. Indian Independence Act 1947, implemented on 15th August 1947, abolished the sovereignty of British Parliament. Dominions of India and Pakistan were created. Each dominion was to have a Governor-General. Pakistan was to comprise Sindh, British Balochistan, NWFP, West Punjab and East Bengal. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, the first Home Minister, integrated all the states by 15th August 1947. Kashmir, Hyderabad, Junagadh, Goa with Portuguese and Pondicherry with French later acceded to Indian Federation.